Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Gates channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and hit like for more daily drama updates and spoilers. Your support truly means a lot and helps our channel grow every day. Tuesday, August 18th is shaping up to be another explosive day in Beyond the Gates, with shocking choices, emotional confrontations, and the kind of campy drama that can turn everything upside down in an instant. The latest spoilers suggest that Bill Hamilton is about to make a dangerous move, while Leslie Thomas will be pushed into an unexpected moment of self-reflection. At the same time, Bradley Smitty Smith is set to do something that disappoints Martin Richardson, leaving viewers wondering what could possibly drive a wedge between the couple. With so many relationships already hanging by a thread, Tuesday's episode promises to put even more pressure on the people caught in the middle. And as the tension continues to build, it looks like several characters may be forced to confront feelings and decisions they have been trying desperately to avoid. First, Bill appears ready to flirt with disaster, and there is one person who immediately comes to mind when that warning is mentioned: Danny Dupree. Time and again, people have warned both Bill and Danny to stay away from each other, yet somehow the two continue finding reasons to remain within each other's orbit. The danger is no longer just emotional, because both of their marriages are now sitting directly in the line of fire, making every encounter between them potentially devastating. So, could Danny make another visit to Bill while he is recovering in the hospital? And could Bill actually try to seduce her from his hospital bed? This is Beyond the Gates, after all, where even the most outrageous possibilities can suddenly become reality, although it is also possible that the two simply fall back into their familiar, flirtatious rhythm without taking things any further. Either way, the chemistry between them remains a serious problem, especially after everything that has already happened. And Bill would be wise to remember that Vernon Dupree has already made his feelings crystal clear. During Monday's August 17th episode, Vernon issued Bill a serious warning, making it unmistakably clear that he should stay away from Danny. That threat now hangs over Bill like a storm cloud, meaning any reckless decision could come with consequences far more dangerous than a damaged marriage. Bill may believe he can control the situation, but Vernon is not someone he should underestimate, especially when his family is involved. Meanwhile, Bill's own wife, Haley Hamilton, is preparing for another confrontation, and once again, poor nurse Ashley Morgan may find herself caught directly in the middle. Haley has made no secret of how much she hates Danny's visits and the constant presence of the Duprees around Bill's hospital room, so it would hardly be surprising if her frustration once again erupts into conflict with Ashley. As the hospital tension continues to simmer, the drama shifts toward Leslie Thomas and her daughter Eva Thomas, who are heading into an emotionally charged confrontation of their own. Eva will say something that strikes a nerve with Leslie, forcing her mother to look inward and reconsider feelings she may have been trying to push aside. The implication is that Ava could accuse Leslie of shutting herself off from other romantic possibilities because she still has unresolved feelings for Ted Richardson, or as Leslie might privately think of him, her beloved teddy bear. That accusation is bound to sting because it touches a part of Leslie that she may not be ready to admit exists. Leslie could become upset and defensive, but the painful truth is that Eva may actually have a point. The real question now is whether Leslie can finally let go of those lingering feelings for Ted and allow herself to move forward, or whether her attachment to the past will continue controlling the choices she makes in the present. Elsewhere, another relationship faces an uncomfortable moment when something Smitty does leaves Martin disappointed. The exact reason remains unclear, but there are several possibilities that could explain why Martin finds himself upset with his husband. Could the issue involve the podcast Smitty was invited to, perhaps creating a conflict or disagreement between them? Or could Martin potentially miss the charity basketball game because work gets in the way, leading to disappointment and emotional tension between the two? At this point, the spoilers are keeping the details under wraps, leaving viewers to wonder which seemingly small decision could turn into a much bigger issue. Whatever Smitty does, the fact that it disappoints Martin suggests that something important is at stake, and their relationship may have to weather another emotional test before the day is over. Meanwhile, Ted Richardson is about to receive some news that could completely change the way he sees his former marriage and the people connected to it. Ted will catch up with Dr. Carlton Fitzgerald and discover that his so-called friend is no longer dating Ted's ex-wife, Nicole Dupree. That revelation could hit Ted in an unexpectedly complicated way because even if he has tried to move beyond Nicole, learning that Carlton is no longer with her could awaken feelings he thought were safely buried. Will Ted be relieved, curious, jealous, or perhaps even tempted to reconsider his own relationship with Nicole? The answer could depend on just how much of his past he is willing to admit still matters to him. And with Leslie already being pushed to confront her feelings for Ted, this update arrives at a particularly interesting moment, potentially setting several emotional pieces into motion at once. Nicole, meanwhile, will not be keeping her new relationship status a secret from everyone. Vanessa McBride is also set to receive an update directly from Nicole, who will reveal that she is now exclusively dating Dr. Keel Rollins. That announcement could carry more weight than it initially appears to, especially considering the complicated romantic history surrounding Nicole, Ted, and Carlton. Nicole seems ready to embrace this new chapter, but the people around her may not be quite as prepared to accept the change. Vanessa's reaction could reveal whether she believes Nicole has finally found something stable or whether she suspects there is still unfinished business lurking beneath the surface. With so many former relationships colliding with new romantic possibilities, Nicole's love life remains one of the most unpredictable emotional storylines in play. And just when it seems like the major drama is already unfolding everywhere, Shanice Johnson is about to be caught completely off guard by an unexpected request. The identity of the person making that request and the reason behind it remain unclear, leaving an intriguing question hanging over the episode. Could this have something to do with hospital business, placing Shanice in the middle of another professional complication? Or could the request be far more personal, forcing her to deal with something she never expected to face? Either possibility could open the door to another layer of drama, particularly if Shanice finds herself unable to simply walk away from the situation. Whatever happens, the surprise request promises to add another unpredictable twist to an episode already packed with emotional pressure. By the time Tuesday's episode reaches its final moments, the pieces will be scattered across several different battlefields with marriages, romances, friendships, and family relationships all under increasing strain. Bill will be dangerously close to crossing another line with Danny, even as Vernon's warning continues to echo in the background, while Haley's anger threatens to create yet another confrontation inside the hospital. Leslie will be forced to face the possibility that Eva's accusation is painfully accurate, and Smitty's actions will leave Martin wondering why his husband has disappointed him. At the same time, Ted will learn that Nicole and Carlton are no longer together. Nicole will make it clear that she is exclusively dating Kyle, and Shanice will receive a request that could lead her into an entirely unexpected situation. Now, with every storyline pushing the characters closer to emotional breaking points, August 18th promises to deliver the kind of explosive drama beyond the gates viewers will not want to miss. But beneath all these individual conflicts, something much bigger appears to be taking shape because nearly every major character is being pushed toward a decision that could have consequences far beyond Tuesday's episode. Bill's dangerous attraction to Danny is no longer simply a private temptation, especially with Vernon watching closely and Haley already furious about the situation. One wrong move inside that hospital room could send shockwaves through two families and permanently damage marriages that are already struggling to survive. The possibility of Bill and Danny slipping back into their flirtatious dynamic makes the situation even more volatile because neither one seems particularly good at resisting temptation when emotions begin to take control. Even if nothing physical happens between them, a suggestive encounter or a moment of undeniable chemistry could be enough to make the people around them suspicious. And in a world where secrets rarely stay hidden for long, that could be all it takes to ignite another devastating confrontation. Haley, meanwhile, seems to be reaching the point where her patience is completely exhausted. Every time she sees Danny appear at Bill's hospital room, she is reminded of the threat hanging over her marriage, and every familiar face from the Dupree family only adds to her frustration. That anger could easily spill over onto Ashley Morgan, even though the nurse is not responsible for the complicated relationship surrounding Bill. Haley's emotions are understandable, but they are also becoming increasingly difficult to control, and that creates the perfect conditions for another confrontation. Ashley may once again find herself attempting to maintain professionalism while Haley's accusations and resentment grow stronger. The hospital should be a place of healing, but for Bill and everyone surrounding him, it is quickly becoming the center of an emotional battlefield. At the same time, Leslie's confrontation with Eva could prove to be one of the quieter but more meaningful emotional moments of the episode. Unlike a dramatic argument that explodes and disappears, Eva's words may stay with Leslie long after their conversation ends, forcing her mother to sit alone with an uncomfortable truth. Leslie may insist that she has moved on from Ted, but if Eva is right about her continuing to reject other romantic possibilities because of those lingering feelings, then Leslie has a decision to make. Holding on to Ted emotionally may feel safe because their history is familiar, but that same attachment could also prevent Leslie from discovering something new. Her feelings for her teddy bear may have survived longer than she wanted to admit, and now someone she loves has forced her to look directly at them. Whether Leslie finally releases that emotional connection or continues carrying it into the future could become an important turning point for her. Then there is Smitty and Martin, whose conflict may appear smaller compared with the explosive drama surrounding Bill and Danny, but emotional disappointment can sometimes cut even deeper when it comes from someone you love. Martin expects certain things from his husband, and whatever Smitty does on Tuesday clearly fails to meet those expectations. If the problem involves the podcast invitation, it could create questions about Smitty's priorities and how much time or attention he is willing to give to his career opportunities. If instead Martin risks missing the charity basketball game because of work, the disappointment could come from something more personal, especially if the event carries emotional significance for them. Either way, the tension suggests that Smitty will have to explain himself, and Martin may not be ready to simply brush his feelings aside. Sometimes it is not the size of the mistake that hurts a relationship, but what that mistake seems to say about where someone's heart truly is. Ted's discovery about Nicole and Carlton could also create ripples that reach far beyond the conversation in which he receives the news. Learning that Carlton is no longer dating his ex-wife may seem like a simple update, but Ted's emotional response could reveal whether he has genuinely moved on from Nicole. There is always a difference between believing you have closed a chapter and discovering that the chapter has suddenly been reopened by someone else's decision. Ted may try to act indifferent, yet the news could stir jealousy, curiosity, or even old affection that he thought had disappeared. And with Leslie already being confronted about her feelings for him, Ted's own reaction becomes even more important. The complicated web surrounding these relationships may be tightening, just as several characters believe they are finally beginning to move forward. Nicole, however, appears determined to make her own path clear by openly acknowledging her exclusive relationship with Dr. Keel Rollins. Her update to Vanessa could signal that Nicole is ready to stop living in the uncertainty of complicated romantic triangles and embrace something that feels more defined. But in the world of Beyond the Gates, making a relationship official does not necessarily mean the past has disappeared. Ted is still connected to Nicole through their history. Carlton remains part of the larger circle, and the emotional consequences of their previous relationships are still unfolding around them. Nicole may believe she knows exactly where she stands, but the reactions of the people around her could complicate that confidence. Her announcement may therefore become less about simply revealing who she is dating and more about forcing everyone else to confront the fact that Nicole is moving on. And then there is Shanice, whose unexpected request could provide the episode with another mystery just waiting to unfold. The request may be connected to the hospital and the responsibilities surrounding her work, or it could involve something much more personal that catches her completely off guard. The uncertainty itself is what makes the moment intriguing, because Shanice will have to determine what the request means before deciding how to respond. If it is professional, she could find herself pulled into another hospital complication at exactly the wrong time. If it is personal, however, the emotional consequences could be much harder to predict. Either way, Shanice's surprise suggests that Tuesday's episode will not simply revisit existing conflicts. It may also open the door to a brand new problem. As all these stories unfold side by side, the real tension comes from knowing that one character's decision could easily affect another. Bill's actions could threaten Haley's marriage and provoke Vernon, while Danny's choices could put her own relationship and family connections at risk. Leslie's struggle with Ted could influence her future romantic choices, while Ted's reaction to Nicole and Carlton's breakup could reveal emotions he has been trying to hide. Smitty's disappointment of Martin could expose weaknesses in their relationship, and Nicole's new commitment to Kyle could force several people to reconsider where they stand. Meanwhile, Shanice's unexpected request remains one more unanswered question waiting to become part of the chaos. That is what makes Tuesdays Beyond the Gates so unpredictable. The drama is no longer happening in isolated corners of Fairmont Crest. Instead, old feelings, dangerous attractions, wounded marriages, family tensions, professional responsibilities, and new romances are beginning to overlap in ways that could create consequences nobody sees coming. Bill may believe he can flirt with Danny without paying the price. Leslie may believe she can bury her feelings for Ted. And Nicole may believe her new relationship gives her a clean start. But the past has a way of returning when these characters least expect it. By the time the dust begins to settle, someone could be left heartbroken, someone else could be exposed, and another relationship could be pushed dangerously close to the breaking point. Tuesday's episode promises to keep the emotional pressure high from beginning to end, with every confrontation carrying the possibility of something much bigger. And if these spoilers are any indication, viewers will want to stay tuned, because once the secrets, temptations, disappointments, and unexpected requests begin colliding, there may be no easy way for anyone to escape the fallout.